All righty. So I'd like to introduce Dr. Lincoln Liu from the University of Florida, who is going to tell us about a new breast cancer study.
Thank you. Yeah. So like Terry was saying, my name is Lincoln Liu. I'm a research scientist at the University of Florida, and I'm here representing a study that we're calling Petal Florida. At the moment, we are based out of the Gainesville, Florida area where the University of Florida campus is located, but we are looking forward to expanding the study in the near future to the across the state of Florida. And if we can get some more funding from the federal government in the future, we would love to try and expand this across the US as well. So let me talk a little bit about the project, the sort of genesis, and what our goals are. A few of the researchers, myself included, are avid cyclists. And one thing we notice is that, as cyclists, it seems like it's almost like a virus where we want to try and infect everybody around us. And, we get our partners bikes, we tell our friends to get bikes, and we just always want to bring people into the fold. Um, and we know from, a lot of like physical activity initiatives and efforts to try and get people to be more active that one of the best things is having an accountability buddy or just some kind of friend or person that you're close to in some way who's, invested in helping you become more active and staying active. And the other thing that we know is that for a lot of cancer survivors, especially, cardiovascular disease tends to be one of the leading causes of like health complications 5 years after cancer survival. Partly because a lot of the chemotherapy drugs are so cardiotoxic, but also for a lot of people, is compounded on top of other health challenges that they may have. And so when we heard about that, it was like, okay, we know cycling is this really wonderful low impact activity. There's a lot of places in the US now that are pushing for kind of separated, safe bike infrastructure, and not just in the cities, but here in Gainesville, we have a completely separate rail to bike trail that used to connect our town from the next to the next town over. It's called the Hawthorne Trail. It's about 15 miles. And outside of a couple of road crossings, it is completely vehicle traffic free. Other than, a few of the service vehicles that go on to help blow off some of the leaves that fall on it and maintain it. But it's very safe and it provides such a wonderful opportunity for someone who may be uncomfortable with riding a bike or haven't ridden a bike in a long time to have as close to a controlled environment as you can for someone to get on a bike and ride, and enjoy the outdoors, and enjoy the social aspects of riding with other people. And so that was the argument we made to the Florida Department of Health, who provided us with a modicum amount of funding to help get a fleet of bicycles, some other equipment, and to operate the study for this year to try and see if we can provide that connection and lower some of the friction that people have, for instance, not having a bicycle or not knowing who to ride bikes with. And so the entire goal of our study is to find people who are cancer survivors, who are at least 6 months removed from finishing the primary treatment. So anyone who's actively going through treatment, while we would love to support them as well, unfortunately, there's just a lot of liability reasons that the university doesn't want us to do anything like that. So anybody who's a cancer survivor who's interested in getting more physically active, we connect them with our local cycling club that has different tiers of, fast rides, slower rides, longer rides, shorter rides, so that these people who are cancer survivors can find other people who are cancer survivors in the club already. And it's interesting how many cancer survivors gravitate towards cycling. I'm not sure if that's still a carryover from the Lance Armstrong effect about 20 years ago, but there's been a lot of bike rides where a lot of people who are on the rides tell me that they're cancer survivors. And so that's our goal. We try to make it as easy and frictionless as possible, provide this opportunity for someone who, maybe hasn't ridden a bike in a while or just wants some way to be more active with other people and provide the bikes, the helmet. We're partnered with the Florida Department of Transportation as well to provide free helmets for our participants to keep for after the study. Unfortunately, the bikes we have to ask back for by the end of the study, but yeah, this way we can, not just have the 30 people that we have bikes for this time to get on bikes, but we can try to, get more and more people across the state on bikes.
And you know what? Can I ask you a question?
Sure.
Because what piqued my interest is I had no idea. Early on, you said that a lot of cancer survivors have cardiovascular issues.
hmm
Why is that so? Do you have an idea, like what is your study found, or can you
that
shed light on that? Or
Yeah, yeah. So that's something that other medical studies have looked into. I don't have the statistics off the top, in front of me, but from what I remember, it's multiple factors that contribute to cardiovascular disease being, I believe, the leading killer of cancer survivors, either 5 or 10 years after they survive cancer, and it's partially due to how cardiotoxic chemotherapy drugs are. It does damage the heart as people go through chemotherapy. But also, it's a compound effect of you go through something that traumatic to your body, and as as Americans age, a lot more people end up getting some kind of heart condition or
Mhm.
cardiovascular issues, and so it's just an unfortunate compound or additional factor that contributes to it. So, someone who's had cancer, they could have, if they hadn't had the cancer, maybe had cardiovascular disease normally in their life, but then having cancer as like a traumatic event in their past just kind of negatively impacts their quality of life long term,
Oh,
with
wow.
regards to the cardiovascular disease.
Yeah, I'm glad you asked that, Terry, to with Dr. Lou because I wrote that down as well. Cardiotoxic with your heart. Early on, I'm a 25-year survivor, and we have a lot of some long-term survivors on tonight.
hmm
And early on, when I started the Beautiful Gate, I met a few women. We used to go. During the time I used to advocate. We used to go to Washington D.C. and advocate for certain funding or just advocate so we can get additional funds
hmm
for cancer, breast cancer. And I met a few women who did tell me that some of the chemo drugs did affect their heart. I mean, they had one was saying that uh she had to have a heart transplant, but you know what? She was not going to get it because guess what? She's a cancer patient, a cancer survivor. So it was like a double whammy there, and
Yes.
and they take the drugs to kill one thing, but then it affects something else and damages it. And not only are they dealing with breast cancer, now they're dealing with issues of their heart
hmm
that the drug is the culprit of. And then they can't be treated because they're cancer survivors, So, but I just wanted to just mention that, I had no idea uh, uh, early on that these drugs can affect other uh, parts of your body. And but I have learned quite a bit in my 25 years now. So, but you're cycling because it's only in Gainesville, though.
So right now because we're funded currently through the Florida Department of Health, our mandate is within the state of Florida, and our current round of recruitment is looking at people who are in the Gainesville area, but we have established connections with other bike clubs throughout the state of Florida. So once this first 12-week cycle of participants have been completed, we are expanding this study across the state so that there's different centers. We have connections with a bike club in sort of the Tampa area, the Orlando um, Villages area, down in Miami, as well as Jacksonville. So far, that's the initial round of collaborations that we've established, but we're also looking to hopefully get a bike club in the Tallahassee area, Fort Myers, just any sort of the larger centers across the state of Florida. Um, one of the nice things is, you know, we're starting in Gainesville because myself and a couple of the other researchers are avid cyclists, so we can sort of really advocate and make sacrifice some of our time to make this push. But we know that there is a lot of familiarity and expertise and experience in almost every bike club in welcoming new people to the sport. So we're essentially leveraging that established pathway that these bike clubs have to bring people into the sport, sort of mentor them in how to ride with other people, show them however they, post rides. Like some clubs use a website, some clubs will do a Facebook group, some clubs will do a Discord server where they chat with each other in real time. So we're really trying to facilitate the process, try to give people little nudges along the way. So, pointing them in the right direction, making the bike riding easier. That's what we're trying to do.
Explain to me your study. I want to participate. Explain to me the steps, and from
Hmm.
the beginning, what is it that you are looking for me or you want me to do to get me on a bike after I done had treatment? Okay, how you gonna get me to get on that bike? I'm
For
just saying,
sure.
I need for you to, like a sales pitch. Sell me sell this to me as a breast cancer survivor, and I done
Hmm.
went through chemo 6 months after a treatment, and then you want me to get on the bike. Sell it to me.
For sure. Well, oftentimes it'll actually be the physician, the person who is overseeing the cancer treatment. We've spoken with a lot of clinicians who were very excited about our idea and have said that, this is something that they wish was already available because they tell a lot of their cancer survivor patients on follow-ups like, hey, you're safe now to take part in physical activity. And it's actually really funny. Some of them have said, oh, we would get them, onto physical activity as soon as they're done treatment or even during treatment. But unfortunately, the university's lawyers were like, maybe give them a little bit more time. So for us, we have a screening form where we have people fill out a little bit more information about their cancer treatment, their dates, make sure that they're at least 6 months from, finishing their primary cancer treatment. Now, for some people, if they have, non-chemotherapy like follow-up treatments or maintenance treatments that some people have to have for the rest of their lives, one of our friends is a leukemia survivor who's a cyclist, and so they have to go do follow-ups, I believe, every 6 months or so. And so, that's totally within our eligibility criteria. Once we, get that information from the person, if they meet their eligibility criteria, we'll ask them to provide some sort of medical release from, a person who is overseeing their medical treatment, just to make sure that, just because sometimes people don't provide the most truthful information when they're in a self-reported situation, so that we have a medical professional who can tell us, like, I know this person, I've seen their treatment. In my expert opinion, they are safe to be on a bicycle. Once that's the case, we'll consent them to the study. And for people who don't have bikes, don't have helmets, we'll get a sense of their dimensions, how tall they are, their head size, what kind of hat size they wear, and we'll make sure that we provide a bicycle for them that is very upright, easy to ride, fairly light actually. I was surprised by how light it was. And for the duration of the study, which is 12 weeks, they're able to use the bike and the helmets are provided to them to keep, for the entirety of the study and for as long as they want. And then we direct them to communicate with the local cycling club that they're. So right now it's the Gainesville Cycling Club, but as we expand the study, it'll be to whatever club is local to them. And the idea is these are people who should be more active, should be exercising, and so they have the option to pick from. So for instance, I'll use the GCC because that's what I'm most familiar with. They post rides pretty much every single day. Some rides are in the morning, some rides are in the afternoon. There's weekend rides. There's a lot of different clubs that different sub clubs within the club. So they have something called the Saddle Tramps, which is a fairly easy paced ride. People go, they chat while they're riding. half an hour to 2 hours, depending on the day. Some days are very long, some days are really short. And so the person who is part of our study gets to look at this list of rides for the week and decide that sounds like fun, or this ride is going to happen in a place I've never been to. Most of these rides are going to be, on a separated bike path for the most part, or on a very low traffic road. But we let the people decide themselves how much they want to do, how little they want to do. And as part of the study, we'll interview people throughout the 12-week process. That's, not everybody has to be interviewed for those like weekly interviews. We kind of pick at random, but then at the end of the study, we'll try to get everybody to be interviewed and get a sense of what was the experience like? Did they enjoy the people they met? Did they like riding a bike? Is this a viable way to try and get more cancer survivors to be active? We're really trying to understand if this is like a really good process, if this is something that's meaningful, and is this something that is worth expanding and pursuing across the country?
But it sounds like you it can become like a social support club therapy.
I can't say it like that, but I know for a fact as a cyclist, you weirdly open up to other people very quickly when you've been riding next to them for a long time. Maybe it's just because otherwise it's too quiet and it's too awkward not to talk.
So, but uh, that's not your goal is to get them active, fit, But it sounds like once you get them there, uh, and they start socializing
Hmm.
and it seems like it can be great therapy.
Yes. So we call that social support. We try not to overstep and overstate what we can do, but definitely for some people, social support can be similar to the therapy experience. I know for a lot of my friends who are cyclists, for their mental health, they love to go for a bike ride with either by themselves or with friends that they enjoy seeing. And that's actually a really common theme for people who are already cyclists. Cycling is part of their mental health, either by themselves or as part of a social group. And that's one of the conceits of our study is this idea that the more we have people around us doing these shared activities that we enjoy, the more we're likely to continue to do these activities. But there's research showing that that builds intrinsic motivation, it builds happiness, it contributes to joy and social support and a more positive emotional experience for people.
Yeah, I'm sort of liking this. I didn't think I'm gonna tell you, Dr. Lou, at first when I read your email and stuff, I said, I don't know about this. But then, but you explained it, but it'll catch it. I like what I'm hearing because when you're going through treatment, then I was thinking, uh, I didn't want to try anything
Hmm.
new,
Yeah,
but this is something. If you try something new, then you're getting out of that your comfort zone. You're getting out of a comfort zone. And then you're going back into the world, which is scary. I'm gonna tell you,
hmm,
it's scary. uh, to come back out of it, but you have to. And then to do something new, that is that is powerful for a person. I'm just saying, as a survivor who coming out, that can become very powerful, advocating for themselves and turn it. I don't know. My mind is just going. It's just going. I can see a lot of positiveness in this. I really can. People
yes,
who've never, just like try it. You may like it. So
exactly.
see, I'm very plain, Dr. Lou. I'm looking at it from that standpoint too. For me, you know, uh, I haven't been on a bike in oh God so long. But what would make me get back on a bike? So
Well,
but.
Friends,
Sonia
friends
and
and
Jeanette will make you get back on that bike.
yeah.
Sorry, I came a little late. Is this a motorcycle bike or a bike bike?
A bicycle bike, a pedal bike.
Oh, because I was like, not a motorcycle. Nope, nope.
No, the idea is, well, the pedal bike helps you exert yourself a little bit physically, but unlike running or walking, it doesn't hurt your joints. You get to sit down on it. You're putting in as much effort or as little effort as you want, but it's just the state of Florida has so many beautiful outdoor places that most people don't get to see. Like when I
Mm-hmm.
moved here for my
Yep.
PhD program, we had people coming from all over the world, people from California, people from, Kansas, people from Korea, and so many of them sort of looked at it as like, well, it's kind of a provincial place. There's no shopping. There's, no concerts. But as a cyclist, I love living here because we have so many beautiful like wildlife management areas and state parks and local parks and green spaces. It's one of the things that I really miss about every time I'm in a big city. It's just that we can so quickly from Gainesville get out somewhere that feels completely remote where you don't really see people and you're seeing otters and foxes and coyotes and deer and hawks and osprey and just so many and obviously alligators so many wildlife that is just so cool and I know I'm really trying to give you the hard sell here but just for me it was such a fun experience to get out there and it's just something that I think so many people know how to ride a bike. They learn how to ride a bike as a kid, but it's been so long and they only see it as, oh, I'll go around the neighborhood and it's kind of hot, it's kind of boring, big whoop. But, if you're out under the tree canopy enjoying just nature, it's pretty cool.
So you'll teach everyone how to get up those hills too on the pedal bike if they're not electric bikes.
Well, fortunately, Florida's pretty flat, so we don't have
Okay.
we don't have many hills to worry about at all.
Okay.
Yeah, that's another benefit to us being in such a flat state.
Let me ask you something. You have marketing materials that you have created. Uh, uh,
Yeah. I can actually put something in the chat and then I can let me see. Yeah, I can put a file in here for our flyers so that you can
because
see.
I was thinking, and Terry, this is something that I know everyone that we have assisted in the area, in the like the Alachua, Gainesville area,
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
in every registration can, if that was something we wanted to share with them, we can send that to them. And
Okay.
Yeah.
yeah, we've been around a long time, Dr. Lou. Yeah. So we have that's what I was thinking, uh,
Great.
what, Terry is the marketing person. She teaches me a lot of things, but that's where I was going with it. We can take
Yeah.
marketing material and send it out only to the women in those areas. Um,
Hmm.
and if it's coming from us, because they know who we are. Because
Yes.
if it come from you, they're gonna say, "Oh, we ain't finna open this."
Yeah, exactly.
So and I have an assistant who love texting and I don't. So right, I can give her something to do to send it out to them via text.
For
Hmm.
sure. Yeah.
You see? See,
Yeah.
I told you I'm liking this, Dr. Lou.
And I
Well,
guess I have a question
sure.
too. Thinking about Miss Pam being in mommy mode now,
Mm,
for cancer survivors who may not have someone to watch their kids, are family members welcome on the ride if they have their own bikes, like, not babies, but, elementary, middle school, high school kids and family members
yeah, they
of cancer
support
patient,
people.
their
Yeah.
support
Yeah.
people?
Yeah, for sure. So like I was saying earlier, we are essentially leveraging the existing pipeline from the bike club's perspective. So the
Hmm.
club is happy to, have as many people come as possible. The only thing is, um, oftentimes bike clubs like to have people who come regularly sign up for the club. There's usually insurance, just there are potentials for accidents to happen when you ride a bike outdoors. And
Hmm.
so long term, if people are going to continuously show up, bike clubs often will like to ask people to join the club. I know for the Gainesville Cycling Club, the fee is very reasonable. It's about, I think, $18 a year. Um, and that anytime you're taking part in a club posted ride, so like I was saying earlier, these rides are posted on their website, and there's like a little spreadsheet chart of like this club, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, what they're riding. So if you go to one of those rides, the club's insurance kicks in, and it is, if I remember correctly, it covers everything. It covers your deductible so that, your regular insurance will take care of the rest. So if you do get into an accident, um, don't quote me on that. And every club is different in terms of the insurance that they provide, but I am pretty sure most clubs have some kind of insurance policy like that.
Okay.
But your study is free for anyone right now.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Can
And so, oh, sorry, go ahead.
I wanted to ask a question. Is there an age limit?
No, as long as you're over 18, 18 years of age or
Mm,
older, so that you're an adult who can consent to be part of the study. Um,
okay.
I was on a bike ride a few weeks ago with some of the mentors that are in the study, and they're 70s, 80s, still riding a bike every single week. They'll do 6 to 10 hours a week of bike riding.
Okay.
Does
Tanya,
it
you
have
So,
just made the cut. You just turned
yeah,
18. You
yeah,
just
but
made the cut, girl.
does
Terry,
it
you talked about going up the hill. I haven't been on a bike in 60 years.
Okay. Well, there's been a few changes in bicycle technology in the last 60 years.
I remember the
Actually,
10 speed that got me around Georgia Southern.
okay. Yeah, so when we were coming up with the idea for the study, myself and one of the other researchers who's an avid cyclist were like, well, what kind of bike do we want to get people on? And obviously a 10 speed is out because you're so pitch far forward, the tires are very skinny, and they have it looks like a 10 speed bike, but they call it a gravel bike. So it has much bigger tires, it's a little bit more relaxed, and it gives you still the curly bars with more hand positions. And we're thinking like, okay, that could be a good option, but like it still looks intimidating, right? And so we connected with a local bike shop here that's sells specialized bicycles. They're one of the biggest manufacturers in the world, and they have this beautiful upright, really surprisingly light aluminum frame bicycle that's, you don't have to hunch over to be on the bike. It's got very big, cushy, comfortable tires that are I want to say 2.3 inches in diameter, so they're quite cushy, lots of grip, and I was really surprised by how nice the bike rode. It was really cool. And so that's what we're giving people to ride for the duration of the study. It's an upright position. You don't have to hunch over. It's easy to look around. And because the way the bike puts you in more of an upright seating position, it's a lot easier to put your foot at your side and control, so you're not having to be on your tippy toes to try and balance the bike if you're coming to a stop.
I like that. I wish I lived in the area.
So
Well, I
you
mean, if we can make this a bigger thing and convince the federal government to give us more money, we would love nothing more than to try and organize this across the entire country and
Yeah.
just get connected with USA Cycling and every bike club out there and just tell them like, hey, people want to be more active and cycling is such a great way for, especially as people get older, it's so low impact on the joints and it has such a great social aspect to it. So many people I know will ride to a coffee shop or end their ride at a brewery or a restaurant. It's just such a fun outdoor activity.
Okay. Great.
you have a location in Tampa?
We will expand to Tampa. We have
Okay.
connected with the oh shoot, I don't remember their name off the top of my head. Um I think it's the St. Pete Pinellas Bike Club. So they're, on either side of the bay. So they have people in St. Pete, they have people up in Clearwater, they have people in Tampa, and they have people over in even in Wesley Chapel. So like in that Tampa area, we will expand there in the second round of the study.
Okay,
Mm.
that's where I live near Wesley Chapel.
Oh, okay, great.
Jeanette,
Yeah, yeah.
I'm sorry,
This
Sonia, I just dropped theirs in the link.
I don't
And
know how to link stuff.
oh, okay, well,
Yeah,
Text
I'll
me.
send it in the email recap.
Okay, because I really was talking about riding a bike, but I said I'd probably fall. So I don't know.
can it
I'm
be a
willing to
three-wheeler?
know who.
I'm just
With
saying,
training wheels.
Well, it's funny. We while we're looking for stuff, we did find adult training wheels. They're like a huge version of the kid training wheels. Um, but the problem is they limit the amount that the bike can lean, and
Hmm.
bikes actually turn by leaning. And so I
Yeah.
found with a tricycle, it actually felt way scarier to try and turn on a tricycle because you can't lean the bike. So the every time you turn, it wants to flip over to the outside,
Oh
and
God.
so I
as a
did
kid,
not
that was
like that.
fun, Dr. Lou. As a kid, we did that, and that was fun. But
No.
that was our goal, is to get to flip that bike with them training wheels. But
Yeah.
that was considered fun for us. But now, as we've gotten older, you got to understand, we can't be flipping nothing because one stop, and you know what? We done broke a bone.
Yeah. So we've actually developed a way to help people who haven't been on a bike in a long time. Um, I'm not sure if you ever seen little kids riding around on like, 3-year-old kids, like toddler kids. They'll be riding on a strider bike with no pedals and they're just using their feet to kick. Have you ever seen those?
No.
Okay,
Yeah,
yeah.
I've
So
seen those.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah. So those came out about 15 years ago, and those are actually a way better way to teach young children how to ride a bike than training wheels, because with the training wheels, they don't really learn to balance, but with the Strider bikes, they're essentially just kicking their feet and like pushing themselves like a Flintstones character, and they can get
Ah,
themselves going, learn the balance of the bike, and then putting their feet into the pedal motion is actually a lot easier because it's the balance that is hard to teach kids. And so those things can get kids. I've seen 2-year-olds like push themselves around a bike, kick their feet up, they're balancing, they're, ripping turns. So we're essentially copying that. The bikes we have sit people quite upright, and we can put the saddle really low, and you can put your feet on the ground. If you're not comfortable pedaling yet, you can do that and stride with the bike and get comfortable with the balance and like feeling how the brakes work and how to turn first. And then once you have that, pedaling is a much easier component of bike riding than the balance. So, we do have um, in our protocol, we do have concessions for if people are having a hard time learning how to ride. We have a few sessions we'll take people out, show them the strider technique. Any kind of big parking lot is really easy to do that so that they have an opportunity to get themselves up to speed a little bit they're comfortable with and learn how to turn, feel the brakes before we can roll in the pedaling bit.
So can I ask a question regarding that?
Sure.
So for the study, like for Sonia, it's been a long time since she's been on a bike.
Hmm.
Could someone who's interested in joining the study go to the local bike club and test, and do they have the Strider bikes there for them to try it out before they actually show up for the ride?
Um, every club is going to be a little bit different, so I'm not too familiar with this, the St. Pete Pinellas County Bike Club is like. I know the GCC doesn't really have bikes as part of the club fleet, but it's pretty much every cyclist I know has too many bikes. And so oftentimes they're more than happy to share a bike, let people try stuff out. We have connected with some organizations that are more charitable organizations that take older bikes, fix them back up, and they give them away to children, veterans, people in need. And it's one of those things where that is a very low cost way for people to get a still a high quality bike, because oftentimes the used bikes will be very well built, but they just need maybe new tires or a little bit of air. And it's a way for people to try something out before they have to commit to buying, a new bike for themselves.
Okay.
I wanted to ask something. Um, have you or your people reached out to bike clubs that were either in or outside of Gainesville about your study?
Hmm.
So you
Yeah.
should have a list then.
Yeah, I have a few that we've connected with. We haven't been able to reach every single club in the Florida area. Some of them seem to maybe not answer their emails or even check their emails. But yeah, so we have connections with a club in Jacksonville, the St. Pete Club, um, the Florida Freewheelers, which is kind of an Orlando to like the Villages area club, and then a club down in sort of the general Miami area.
What in your community partners? You have I know this is your study. Uh you have you sent information out to your community partner? How you got to reach? How did you get in touch with us? Who referred us to you?
I just have Googled a lot of different support groups to try and find ways to recruit people because we've got the funding for the study. We have the mentors already in the Gainesville area who are, they're cancer survivors who've been riding bikes for years, but we're just having a hard time getting people who are, in the Gainesville area who are qualified to sign up for the study. And so, I we have a few PhD students and undergrads who are working on the project as well. And not that I don't trust them, but I'm like, I got to go out and do some boots on the ground work to try and find some
Right.
organizations that I can put a face to the project and actually talk about the project. Because I know, hey, do you want to ride a bike? It sounds kind of out of the
Yeah.
blue, yeah, but if I can tell them about the benefits and the things that we have provided for the participants, it's a lot easier to wrap your head around something like that. And so that's what I'm here for. I'm trying to get the word out as much as I can to as many people as I can.
Well, whether you know this or not, you lucked up with us. Okay. No, the reason why I said that because I'm a community partner with University of Florida, um,
Okay.
and we provide breast health education and on-site screenings to underserved women, uninsured, underserved women in the entire state of Florida. But
Mhm.
we do have a special relationship with University of Florida, and we do reach out to them when we need let's say professional people to come and speak to our group like you like what you just have done, and I like it. I like what you have here. And so what I can do, what we can do, is send out your information to the pastor because I do a lot of this work at places of worship,
Hmm.
and I have a list of places of worship in those areas that
Wow.
may be interested. And what we will do is, since they do know me, I understand the liaisons are the people who have an ear to the pastor. Okay, so
Hmm.
we can send that out to them, and just create a mass email, and then what we can put you on now. Don't be calling me now. Don't work me to death. But what we can do, we can tell them to contact you. But and we can, uh, like I said, Terry is our marketing person. You know, and she can however she can hook that up. She'll show me. But I'm just saying, I like this. I really wish that I live in Deltona. I would just think I wish I can just create a bicycle club with your study right here
Mm.
in Deltona.
Hmm.
Where we live at. But see, you're like 2 hours away from me.
Yeah, I mean,
So,
I know
so if
there
you got
are
some extra money, Dr. Lou, if you got some money, you can come this way. You know? No,
We
I'm
we
just
would
saying.
love that.
I'm just saying, but we would, I have no problem with helping you help others. That's what, we're servants, you know.
For
So
sure.
I would definitely love to do something like that.
Yeah, I mean, we would appreciate any kind of help. We had tried to contact a few different churches in the area, but
They
oftentimes
don't
the
know you, Dr. Lou. They
yes,
don't know
exactly.
you. They're not gonna trust you.
Exactly. And that's the thing, we run into so many organizations who are very skeptical and, without an in, it's very hard to so many organizations will approach them anyways, right? Like I know I talked to a few different places that I went in person to talk to them after I sent them an email and they're like, "Oh, it's a good thing you came in person because we get so many emails. We just didn't even bother to open your email."
Have you created a reel? Somebody riding a bike, cancer survivor, a reel. They talking about it and talking about your. See, Terry teaches me. He teaches me very well. I'm telling you. Am I right? Have you created a reel and put it on Facebook? I'm telling you, this stuff when it works.
Yes, unfortunately, we are bound by certain regulations at the University of Florida with regards to social media advertising, and they consider that to be social media advertising that we actually can't ask the researchers to do anything like that. The university has accounts that they use to post about studies. So when they post the study, we can share it to our personal accounts, but we can't generate any materials unless it gets very like thoroughly vetted by the university for that kind of thing. Um, so unfortunately, I can't do anything like that as part of our recruitment. Um, yeah, it's
Oh, okay.
yeah, we're our hands are tied in a lot of different ways, unfortunately.
Okay.
but we can share it.
Yes. Yes,
Okay.
you can share information about it.
Okay.
Anything that I'm talking about here, you can do pretty much whatever you want with it. It's just I cannot be, we as the researchers can't go and create this really fun reel to try and like jazzy, sales pitch for the study. It just there's concerns with the university that if we do something like that, it can become too get a little too out of control.
Got it.
Can I reach
Okay.
out? Can I reach out to you within the next few days to share my thoughts on
Yeah,
that?
yeah, for sure.
Okay. I would love to just share some things with you and see where we can go because if we can share it, then we're it's not that we're just sharing, as far as the benefits of being active. That's
Hmm.
Hmm.
all. We're not going to, we just going to say, hey, well, anyway, I don't want to give it away, but I think it's a really good program, and it's something new, and I'm thinking more of mental health because that's the first thing I thought was mental health, socializing, coming
Mm-hmm.
out, getting busy because uh get out that house because sometimes you be
Yep.
so scared. You're
Hmm.
scared because you just went through something so traumatic on your body, not just your body, but your mental health. So we
Hmm.
need you to get out of that depression. And then listen, this is something totally new for a person. And the first thing when you say riding a bike, the first thing that comes to mind, I haven't ridden a bike like Sonia said
Yep.
in 40, 50 years. Huh, that may be fun. But
Yep.
it may be fun. So you know what? And see, and when we thought about it, and tell the truth, Sonia,
Mhm.
when you thought about it, then a smile come to your face.
It did because I could find a sugar daddy too.
I'm just saying, when you mention bike, as old as we are, and
Yep.
then a smile came to our face, so oh, because we remember riding a bike,
Yep.
Yeah.
how much fun it was. And
Yeah.
then the thing that happened, when did we stop?
Yeah. Yeah.
Life.
When we became adults.
Yeah. Yes. So okay, I'll definitely reach out to you.
Well, thank
Oh,
you
I
so
love
much.
it.
Yeah. Yeah, and it just I conducted a study a few years ago talking to people who were cyclists and talking about the process that it took to get them to become a cyclist. And every single person mentioned the mental health benefits that keep them coming back to riding a bike and
Mhm.
just how intrinsically fun it is. It puts a smile on their face. And getting outside and like having that fresh air hit you in the face, yeah, it's cool.
It's good for your physical fitness too, you
Yes,
know.
definitely. Yeah.
Well, I like it. I love it.
Well, great. Well, thank you so, 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 so much, Lincoln, or Dr. Lou. This has been an eye-opener. My father, as everyone else on here knows, is a probably 15-year prostate cancer survivor, and he's 75. If I can get him back on the bike, it may make my mom's life a lot easier.
Well, hey, we don't have the funds for it as part of this study, but
Yeah.
there's a lot of really great e-bikes out there, and if he lives in the Atlanta area as well, there's so many bike clubs in the Atlanta area, and there's a lot more facilities now, even in Atlanta, to ride a bike separated from traffic,
Hmm.
and yeah, I mean, there's a lot of most clubs have a lot of older people who are cancer survivors, so I think he would find a crowd of people who are, who understand his life.
Okay. Well, thank you. Does anyone else have any other questions for Lincoln?
No, I I am very interested in participating. I'm like a 20-year survivor.
That's
Is that too
great.
long?
No, 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 at any duration of time, as long as you're more
Okay.
than 6 months after your finished treatment, which I think 20 years qualifies for that. Yeah, so when I guess we'll sort of keep us in mind and look out for the materials, and I'll make sure to connect with either Terry or Pam about, when our study is expanding beyond the Gainesville area. And then, you know, I'm sure they can direct you or communicate with you to say like, hey, you remember that study that Lincoln talked to you about in the spring? Well, here it comes, and this is how you can get involved.
Great.
Perfect. Well, thank you so, so much.
No,
And
thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
oh, our pleasure. Thank you. And with that, I'm going to stop recording here.